Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about a common misconception in jiu-jitsu, yoga and just general mobility in day-to-day practice. The gist of this video is that you shouldn't be training flexibility in your knees, and if you are, you may be damaging yourself and putting yourself at risk of injury. So if you want to learn more, keep watching. As a quick clarification, this is not medical or professional advice and it's simply an opinion. I was prompted to make this video when I saw the B-Team clip of J-Rod and Nicky Ryan talking about knee flexibility.
Maybe hip flexibility, definitely not knees. Well, I'm good with like external rotation. You're better with internal rotation.
And I kind of assume that they understand their bodies and they sort of just misspoke in this instance. But I do think this is generally a misconception that quite a lot of people have. And it's not just in jiu-jitsu, but that is where a lot of it is most prominent. The basic idea is that although it feels like you need your knee to come closer to you this way to achieve the full movement, which you do, it doesn't initiate from the knee, it initiates from the hip. So the knee itself is designed generally for extension and flexion, so straightening and bending the leg. It's a hinge joint. This is opposed to the hip, which is a ball and socket. You know, there's a ball and it's in a socket. So that means it has a much bigger range of motion. Not only can it do flexion and extension, it can do adduction, abduction, which is basically moving sideways, out to the side and in again. And then additionally, it can do internal and external rotation. So clearly the hip joint, ball and socket, is designed for way more movement and mobility than the knee is. You can't really gain flexibility in the knee. Like, there are instances when you have a knee injury and then you regain your range of motion, or, you know, if you have a particularly like weak or something, but it's not really like training it to get further range, you know, after a certain point. It's really not the same as the hip. The classic example is sitting cross-legged. A lot of usually adults will say, I can't sit cross-legged because my knees hurt. And where this may be true, the knees only hurt because you don't have sufficient flexibility in the hips. So here are a few studies to sort of back up this claim. In 2018, there was a study done by the Orthopaedic and Sports Therapy Journal, which showed that individuals with a greater range of internal hip mobility suffered from less knee injuries. Another study in the Orthopaedic Journal of Sports Medicine shows that meniscus and ligament tears in martial arts are often caused by forced lateral knee movements. A Journal of Biomechanics review indicated that the majority of the power in your lower body comes from the hips, and the knees act as sort of a transmitter of this force. And finally, a study in the British Journal of Sport shows that training hip strength can decrease knee injuries by promoting joint stability. So now go and think about all the knee injuries that you get in jiu-jitsu, and then also think about the level of mobility that generally you actually need to pull off some of these moves, and whether, you know, a random person off the street can attain that mobility without even realistically stretching that much within like a couple of years. Usually not. This is one of those things that I feel the more you think about it, the more it really does make sense. And especially if you are someone that's experienced knee pains in any of these movements or anything like that, it's just worth thinking about, where are you initiating the movement from? And if you cannot be in a cross-legged position without knee pain, or do like a pigeon stretch, then you should think about, you know, not avoiding the movement, but actually creating a body that doesn't have pain in this sort of position. Here are a few pictures of ideas of doing the pigeon stretch, just as an example, using the idea of protecting the knee, which means that you'll have to adjust the pigeon stretch a little differently to this just standard on the floor version. So that practically concludes this video. I hope this gives you something to think about in your own practice. If that is, when you're doing a triangle, really concentrating on cutting that angle and not feeling it in the knee, or if it's just a general sort of thought that you take when you're doing different movements and different stretches and things like that. Anyway, for myself, when I started realizing this and properly thinking about it, it has really changed the way that I operate physically. So if it's useful, that's great. If you did enjoy it, it'd be cool to like the video, subscribe for more videos like this and other sort of circus content. That's my main thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a lovely day.